Good day, everyone. This is Eugene C. Tapang, together with my group mates, Evelyn Mayormita and Eva Alma Grace Maylan. We are assigned to report the following topics. First, the organizational culture of school. Second, the changing school culture. Third, the organizational climate of schools. And last, changing the climate of school. But before we go further in our discussion, let me share to you our objectives. So at the end of the lessons, the students will be able to, for knowledge, discuss the organizational culture and climate of schools, as well as the changes of school climate and culture. For skills, demonstrate the different level and function of culture and the steps and strategies in changing or transforming school culture. For attitude, investigate the different features of school climate and its factors.
And now let's move on to the organizational culture of school. So there are numerous attempts to define what organizational culture is. One of the simplest and probably the most commonly known definition is the way we do things around here according to Lundy and Coley in 1996. The concept of organizational culture explains that the way we do things comes from the specific sets of values, beliefs, attitudes, and behaviors that are shared by organizational members, which gives the organization unique and distinctive character according to Brown in 1998. So organizational culture can be understood as collective software of minds that has developed out of other sources or three sources. These are the universal, group or collective, and individual. The universal source consists of elements that are common for every culture and organization as they are human constructs and reflect the nature and specificity of us as human beings. Henry Mitzberg in 1989 refers to culture as organization or ideology are the traditions and beliefs of an organization that distinguish it from other organizations and influence a certain life into the skeleton of its structure. Stephen Robbins also in 1998 defines organization culture as a system of shared meaning held by members that distinguishes the organizations from other organizations. Our general definition of organizational culture is a system of shared orientations that hold the unit together and give it a distinctive identity. Orientations or values, norms, and tacit assumptions. So organizational culture manifests itself at different levels or through different dimensions. Edgar Skin in 1992, for example, argues that it can be seen as a phenomenon that expresses itself on three levels. Now let's move on to the levels of organizational culture. So the first one is the tacit assumptions. A tacit assumption is an assumption that underlies a logical argument, course of action, decision, or judgment that is not explicitly voiced nor necessarily understood by the decision maker or the judge. Organizational culture is the basic tacit assumptions about how the world is and ought to be that a group of people share and that determines their perceptions, thoughts, feelings, and their overt behavior. The second is the values. These are the conceptions of the desirable. So personality theory concerns the nature of human nature and is the foundation for any discipline based on assumptions about human motivation. Thus, values are collective conceptions of what is considered good, desirable, and improper to culture. Values conceptions of the desirable such as openness, trust, cooperation, intimacy, and teamwork. The third one is the norms. So organizational norms are an informal, unspoken set of rules or guidelines outlining acceptable behaviors that all employees are expected to adhere to. So in the teaching environment, you must support your colleagues, for example, don't criticize your superiors, handle your own problems, be supportive to your students, and be available to get students extra help. So the functions of culture. So first is the culture as norms. So social and cultural norms are rules or expectations of behavior and thoughts based on shared beliefs within a specific cultural or social group. So one example of this is that to never criticize your colleagues in public. The next is culture as shared values. So culture is shared. This means that the beliefs, values, and practices that define a group or organization are held collectively, and that they are passed down through generations of employees, such as one's commitment to the school as well as to the teaching. The last one is the culture as tacit assumption. So example of this is that teachers are capable of making decisions in the best interest of students, and other example is that truth ultimately comes from teacher themselves. The culture at your organization sets expectations from how people behave and work together and how well they function as a team. In this way, culture can break down the boundaries between siloed teams, guide decision-making, and improve workflow overall. Culture influences how we see the world, how we see the community that we live in, and how we communicate with each other. Being a part of the culture influences our learning, remembering, talking, and behaving. Therefore, culture determines to a great extent the learning and teaching styles also.
Changing school culture. But first, what is school culture? School culture generally refers to the belief, perception, relationship, attitudes, and written and unwritten rules that shapes and influence every aspect of a school function. But the term school culture also encompasses more concrete issues such as the physical and emotional safety of students. The order lines of classrooms and public spaces are the degree to which a school increases and celebrates racial, ethnic, linguistic, or cultural diversity. So changing school culture, according to Shin, points out that it is critical that leaders recognize that changing culture doesn't occur overnight. It is a process, and he offers a number of specific suggestions about how this process can be systematically implemented. So most of the people, teachers, students, and parents who collectively determine what the school culture is like have limited incentive to listen to you. Managing school culture is not dependent on the authority that has based on your position, but can only be affected by increasing your influence over behaviors, beliefs, relationships, and other complex dynamics present in the school that are often unpredictable. So what leaders can do? First one is recognize the need to use an inclusive process for planning any change. So bilang isang leader, kailangan mo munang alamin o kilalanin ang mga proseso na iyong gagamitin para sa iyong pinaplanong pagbabago. Second one is provide opportunity for teachers to talk about the change and discuss the implication for their works. The third one is be intentional in how you talk with people and how you interact. Use each encounter as an opportunity to model the behavior you desire. So bilang isang leader, kailangan mong maging isang magandang halimbawa o modelo sa iyong mga nasasakupan. And commit to opportunities for continued discussions of the reform once it is implemented. There are steps to changing culture. The first step is create a crisis of faith to look with new eyes at the world around you and generate some tentative theories. This step aims to see what are the problems that school faces sa labas man o sa loob ng eskwelahan. The second one is compare these lessons to those implicit in both your aspiration for the school and in your current behaviors and activities. The third one is create a consensus in terms of aspiration that not only addresses the gaps but also build on current strengths. So of course, you need to create new agreement para sa mga gusto mong mangyayari sa pagbabago sa school culture na hindi lang mag-address or mag-solve ng gap or ng mga problems sa school, but also to make or build a new strong school culture. And next is analyze the moods through which culture is communicated. It is either formal and informal, conscious and unconscious, and adapt them to your new direction. And the last is Create cultural capacity, a particular way of working in school which balances the needs to create a strong shared identity with the need to constantly adapt and grow. So you need to create a cultural capacity where the students or anyone in the school can suit their needs and style. Example activities of cultural capacity is laboratories of the futures, dealing with designs, conscious culture, ritual reviews, wider horizons, expressions of wisdom, All Fools Day, and personal leadership. So the question is, how to change school culture?
Of course, you need to promote vision, mission, and goals. Bring staff together to find best practices, sustain the culture through communication, persist, and confront problems. So in transforming school culture, there are 6 key strategies to develop collaborative school cultures. Number 1, strengthen the school culture. So, kailangan mas palakasin pa ang school culture. Number 2, stimulate and reinforce cultural change through structured collaboration. 3, foster staff development. Dapat ay mataguyo din ang pag-unlad ng mga kawani. Number 4, encourage direct and frequent communication about cultural norms, values, beliefs, resulting in shared vision. 5th, develop leaders at all levels. Hindi lang dapat isa ang leader, kundi kailangan din meron pang ibang leader sa bawat antas ng eskwelahan para meron kang kaagapay sa pagbabago ng kultura ng eskwelahan. And 6, empower staff and give autonomy. Hikayatin ang mga kawani at bigyan sila ng kalayaang magkaroon ng sariling pagpapasya o pagdidesisyon.
Good day everyone, I am Eva Maylan and I will be discussing to you guys about the organizational climate of school. So let us first define what is organizational climate of school. Organizational climate of school is a set of internal characteristics that distinguish one school from another and influence the behavior of members is the organizational climate of the school. In other words, organizational climate refers to the system of belief and values the students working with, how it perceived from the organizational, and it directly affects the performances of the students. It also influences members' behaviors and attitude. So, organizational climate greatly influences employees' behavior and attitude. It mainly impacts motivation, promotes individual learning, affects communication, and improves organizational values, group decision-making, and solving. Personality is to individual, and climate is to organization. Climate of an organization is somewhat like the personality of a person. Just as every individual has the personality that makes his or her unique and different from other person. So the following are the main features of organizational climate. It is a perception of the work environment. It is a psychological atmosphere. It is a quick picture of relationship between the organization and its employees. It is a set of properties that can be measured by the correct instruments. It is related to the quality and suitability of the work environment. It has to do with the support that employees feel they receive from the organization. The organizational structure strongly influences the organizational climate. The organizational climate is a reflection of the degree of employee motivation. It has positive and negative effects on people's behavior in the workplace. So the purpose of this main feature of organizational climate is that it makes youth develop and learn necessarily for a productive, contributing, and satisfying life in a society, including norms, values, and expectations that supports people feeling socially, emotionally, and physically safe. Now, let us proceed to the types of organizational climate of school. So, the first one, we have open school climate. An open school climate is characterized by teacher relations that are professional, collegial, friendly, and committed to the education of students. So it is characterized by which the principal is supportive and professional and does not restrict or direct teachers with orders. Somehow, the principal or the teachers open to each other and they are professional enough to work together for the good of the students. So the second one, we have close school climate. Close school climate is characterized by teachers' relations that are disengaged, distant, suspicious, and not professional. So here, the principal is directive, restrictive, and not supportive. Both teacher and the principal are not supporting to each other, and because of that, there is a possibilities that it will affect the learning environment of the student. So the third one, we have healthy school climate. A healthy school climate is characterized by institutional integrity. Teachers are protective from disruptive outside forces. The principals has influence with superiors, gets needed resources, and has an integrated leadership styles that is concerned with both the task at hand and the social well-being of teachers. So here, the moral is high and the student's achievement here is always the focus, and the principal cares for and supports his or her teachers. So the last one, we have unhealthy school climate. Unhealthy school climate is vulnerable to disruptive outside forces. Principal has little influence with superiors, resources are scarce, and the principal neither sets direction nor supports teachers. So here, the moral is poor and there is a limited attention to academic matters. Unhealthy school climate have a negative outcomes for students and it may result in missed opportunities for students' success and improved well-being.
School environments vary greatly, whereas some schools feel friendly, inviting, and supportive. Other feel exclusionary and welcoming and even unsafe. The feelings and attitudes that are elicited by a school's environment are referred to as the school climate. Although it is difficult to provide a concise definition for the school climate, most researchers agree that it is a multidimensional construct that includes physical, social, and academic dimensions. The physical dimensions includes appearance of the school building and its classrooms, school site and ratio of students to teachers in the classroom, order and organization of classroom in the school, and availability of resources, and safety and comfort. The physical environment implies the physical location, buildings, furniture, infrastructural facilities, space, and equipment for effective teaching and learning. It refers to the way a classroom is set up, right from the accessibility and visibility that it offers to the destructibility that it can avoid. The social dimension includes quality of interpersonal relationships between and among students, teachers, and staff, equitable and fair treatment of students by teachers and staff, degree of competition and social comparison between students and degree to which students, teachers, and staff contribute to decision-making at school. So the social dimension in learning is closely linked to the emotional dimension, whether through collaboration or competition. The presence of peers helps learners assimilate knowledge better and nurture a sense of belonging that fosters commitment.
So now let us proceed to the changing the climate of schools, their academic dimensions. So this includes quality of instruction, teacher expectation for students' achievements, monitoring students' progress, and promptly reporting results to students and parents. So as a teacher, you need to have a quality instructions to your students. Having a quality instruction can make your students excel academically, and it is expected since you are doing your part as a teacher. So not just like monitoring your students' progress, but also you need to build your relationship to their parents since it is also important that their parents aware to the progress of their students. So there are many factors affecting school climate. So we just have here 3 examples. So first, we have school engagement. Without student school participation, Teachers cannot identify the capabilities of the students, their attitude, behavior, emotion, and cognitive skill. The second one is welcoming environment. Without a healthy environment in school, others can feel uncomfortable and recognize somehow there is a negative bond between teachers, principal, parents, and students. So the last one is family involvement. As we all know, family must be involved with the school and their children's learning. Without this, there's no connection between family and the teachers. In short, there's no bond between them.
The importance of school climate. First is the way teachers interact with students. Second, the way classroom time is used. Third, the standard teachers hold for students. Fourth, the expectations teachers have for their students. And fifth, positive school climate fosters students' feeling of belonging and strengthening their feelings of academic efficiency. And sixth, strong feelings of academic efficiency lead to better school performance. So, to sum it up, the importance of school climate ay bilang isang guro, kailangan alam mo kung paano ka makikitungo sa iyong mga estudyante, paano mo i-manage yung time na meron ka habang nasa loob ka ng classroom, ano yung mga standards na meron ka, at mga expectation sa iyong mga estudyante. At dapat maramdaman ng mga estudyante na belong sila at hindi sila left out kasi it could encourage them to focus in their academic. And on that way, if students have the academic efficiency, then the results of school performance ay maganda rin. How to improve school climate? Of course, you need to have a positive discipline, prevention and intervention, cultural competence, physical and psychological safety, school connectiveness, and home-school collaboration. How school psychologists can help. Develop and implement positive behavior supports, foster trusting relationship among students and staff, support improve homeschool community engagement using consultation and collaboration, improve access to an equality of mental and behavioral health support, develop and integrate programming to foster school climate, prevent violence, and balance physical and psychological safety. To summary, school culture is the character of a school that gives the school qualities beyond its structure, resources, and practices. It is created by all the people in the school. It is not inherited, and so it is not passed on through the genes. School culture includes school climate, and so school culture is broader than school climate. School climate is relational, while school culture is a deeper level of reflection of shared values, beliefs, and traditions. Undoubtedly, school culture affects learning, and so school must, by all means, build a positive, not toxic school culture.